welcome back to TSBEC TV. I'm just going to do a quick episode right now explaining what the plan is for the creeper and how far we are in the process, because it's quite some time ago since you last saw anything about the project. And the only reason is that I'm just ordering loads of parts home right now, and they all just went on a summer holiday, so nobody's home at the businesses, so right now we're just waiting to get the parts. But right now, as you see here, we've got the engine. We already made an episode where we took pretty much everything apart. And then we were going to fit the new head gasket, which is a 3-layer metal gasket to make up for the boost we're going to put through him with the new turbo. We used the old head bolts, but one of them broke, pretty much the last one we did. So I've ordered some new bolts upgraded, but they haven't arrived yet, so that's why we haven't put it on. So we're waiting for that. Then also the turbo and turbo manifold is ordered and should be on the way now. There was a bit about because we ordered the turbo and he thought it was the whole turbo, but it's actually only the cold side of it. So I had to order the exhaust side on it as well. But that's going to be bolted onto this bit. I've cleaned off all the surfaces with some special grinding thing on both sides. So it should really just be an easy fix. We might have to adjust some of these pipes, cooling pipes and other pipes, but we will look into that. Otherwise than that, we've got gaskets, we've got those home, we've got the the sump fixed, because we cut that up and welded it, and also one of the rocker covers had a huge dent in it, which I tried to fix, which just made it worse. I pretty much made a hole in it. So I'd ordered 2 new ones, 2 used ones of these, and they're going to get painted like this one. Just a bit better job of that. Otherwise than that, that's really it. That's the engine. The next thing they'll be doing is putting the sump back on, putting the head back on, because right now it's just loosely on, so dust doesn't get into it. And torquing that down, and then we're actually being ready to assemble it. So as you can see, the sump has been welded. Last time you saw it, it had a huge differential onto it. I simply just cut that off. It took about an hour, half an hour just grinding. Got it off. It's not very pretty, but it's going to do the job. Then we just weld a patch on here, and one on the other side as well. So now we just haven't got a front differential anymore, because we already got a front differential on the Land Rover. So there's no need for this one. And otherwise than that, it's pretty much just ready to get bolted back onto the car. Some people said, why don't you just use a petrol sump for it, but I'm pretty sure the petrol only fits on the RB26 and forward, not the RB25 from what I know. But from us it was just easy just to cut it and weld it. You could sell it and all that, but if we do this way, we know that the pickup line also fits this particular sump. If we put a petrol sump on it, it might be a bit different. My friend, our JDM wizard, already killed 2 engines because he didn't change the pickup line accordingly to the sump he used. So he said, do that, that'll be safe, because we know it works. So that's pretty much what we're gonna do. Yeah, let's go and look at the parts that I got lined up. So right here are some of the parts I ordered home for the build. First off, we got the gasket for the oil. It's not the oil pump, it's like where the oil filter housing sits on. So that's where this is for, because we're going to do a external cooling system, which meant we have to take it off and do some stuff to it. So a new gasket for that from JDM Garage, and then we got some new belts for all the different things. There's the alternator, servo pump and those kind of things. One of these also for the air conditioning, which we don't need, but I could only put them in a pair of 3. So we got those. Then we got a new HKS timing belt. It's quite important you change these whenever you can, because like the TDI engines, if this one blows, it's gonna pretty much crush your head, because the piston's gonna go up and meet with the valve, and then you're gonna have a bad time. So change these whenever you can, and we're gonna do that now while the engine is out. In here we got a new gasket for the water pump, and we got some for the rocker covers as well. 2 new bearings for the timing belt, and one of them were a bit tight to turn, so I thought I might as well get some new ones. And also at least a new water pump, but I think we don't need to change this water pump yet, because the one that's on it is already pretty good. It's got absolutely no sounds or no play in it when you turn it. So we're just gonna keep the stock water pump onto it for now and see if it holds up. And then we got a spare whenever we need it, and you can always change it while the engine is in the car. So not too big of a fuss to do that. Otherwise than that, I found the bolt that broke while we're trying to turn down the heads. If you go into the manual of the car, you can actually see how much the bolt is allowed to stretch before you need new bolts. And I checked all the bolts and they were all within that range, but just pure bad luck that this one broke, really. But we're gonna go with them RPI head bolts instead, which are upgraded, which means we're never gonna have that problem in the future anyway. So those are just gonna go out. So yeah, I think we're gonna go to the second barn and have a look at the gearbox and the other things and what I've planned for that. So now we moved over to the barn number 2, where we got all the stuff we took off the engine is pretty much on this little thing here. Take all this stuff off. We have all the wiring, which we kept all the all the things here, the connectors, because we're going to reuse those when the tuning company is going to do all the wiring for us. Got flywheel. I think we need another flywheel for the clutch and the gearbox that we're going to be running. Or maybe just some other bolts. So even more wiring here. One huge snake. But it's not that much wiring compared to the engine. You know, it's like that. That's all the wiring for the engine. It's right there. So that's actually quite compact. But we're gonna half the wiring because we don't need all the different things for the inlet manifold and all the eco-friendly blah 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 blah. We're just gonna run high boost, so we don't care about that. Make it simple. So other things is the oil pump thing module that I spoke about, which is this thing you see on the top, which I'm holding around right now. Is the water to oil cooler, which means the water comes in through these two pipes and then goes in between it and cool this metal block down, which should then cool the oil. But as we are running a much smaller cooler, because we really doesn't have that big of a space, we're going to do an oil cooler, a separate one, which means we're going to take this bit off, blank that top off, and we're going to put a ring onto where the filter sits, and then do 2 hoses from that into a separate oil cooler which is in front of the vehicle. So that needs to get done and looked at. Haven't got the time for it right now. Otherwise than that, we have the gearbox, which I found out the other day actually isn't for the Skyline R34 but the 32, which is a good thing, which means it's more simple, and also that it's a 5-speed and not 6-speed, which means the gearbox is exactly the same layout as the what's it called, the R380, where you got the reverse light to the right and down, so you don't need to pull up on anything. With the 6-speed, which I thought it was, you have to pull up to get into the reverse gear, which is going to be a bit of a pain when we're going to do an extension from here and all the way to the front where the gear stick is actually going to be. I have to figure something out there, but that's a good thing. And I ordered a new shifter for it, because it came with no shifter, so I ordered a slick shift. Ordered a clutch fork which sits in here, and also the slave cylinder and a new master cylinder as well. We're just going to use the standard Land Rover cylinders, as my friend said they'll do just fine for this job. Otherwise than that, I think that's pretty much everything. So what we really need to make the car, or the engine and gearbox complete, is a complete clutch kit, which is going to be quite expensive from what I've heard for the one I want. Then there's also an inlet manifold, which is probably the next thing I'm going to buy. So those 2 things, we actually got a complete engine, and then we just need the wiring and small bits and bobs, but we got like all the physical things we need. We might need some hoses and stuff, but yeah, then the engine should actually come together and be complete. So the plan is we're gonna do engine, gearbox, get those sorted, and then in the winter we're gonna take the creeper inside and start tearing him apart and changing everything on him and repair the chassis. The outriggers for the fuel tanks are quite rusted, but the main frame of it is actually pretty good. I went around with a screwdriver poking pretty much everywhere on it, and it didn't go through anywhere, and still got the factory paint on it somewhere. So I'm quite happy with the frame. But the bulkhead have to be changed to a galvanized one. Right behind us, behind the 2 counties, we actually got complete like top of a Series 3 88-inch, which I want. I have to ask my dad if I can get that at some point. And up there we've got the 2 axles. The one on the right is actually a Salisbury axle, which is reinforced and also 24 spline, and I already got the leaf springs on it, so I might use that as a rear one and then get something for the front. But I think I might change it over to just getting 2 Discovery 1 Defender or Range Rover Classic axles, because you can get bigger brakes and it's easier to upgrade. The only thing is that you have to convert them into leaf springs, but this shouldn't be too big of a problem. So that's kind of what the plan is right now. But otherwise than that, I think that's pretty much everything I needed to tell right now. We're still building on them, it's just we need to get all the parts. We need to find out time and money to actually put them together. But hopefully not next weekend, but next weekend again we should actually start putting things onto him and do a longer video of us making the engine ready and looking nice and everything. So yeah, that is pretty much the plan. So in the winter you can expect us to do more chassis work on the creeper and doing, you know, axle changing those and making it look nice, because we have to get an MOT on it, and then we're going to drive a bit around, and then we're going to put the engine in, and then we're going to go through hell to try and get him to get number plates on and get an MOT and registration paper and all that, because as we know, it's never been done before to put, you know, 350 or 400 horsepower into a Series 3, which is a pretty much a 400 or 300% increase in horsepower from what we got now. So that's going to take a lot of paperwork and a lot of money and a lot of time to do, but hopefully it can be managed somehow. Otherwise we have to make another program for him, which we can then take the horsepower down to maybe 250. Then we can have a track mode we can enable and disable whenever we want. So that is pretty much the plan for now. I'll see you guys next time we do something stupid around TSP.